Alrighty, folks, we're now 8-0 in our last 8 board member tier package picks on my premium page. We had the Guardians money line yesterday, and they took care of the Giants with a 2-home run performance. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video here today that I actually like the best, we've got another board member tier package pick going off here today. And just a quick friendly reminder, if you sign up for that package here today, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But before we go ahead and move, actually real quick, got to give a big congratulations out to chairman members. Another winning day for you. We cashed in on 4 more premium selections yesterday. Once again, yet another winning day for chairman members. So congratulations to all you folks out there. And of course, before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to my Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Sunday, July 7th, 2024. Happy Sunday to you. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. It's actually still technically 4th of July weekend, so probably for a handful of you out there, this weekend's been a bit of a blur. Not me, though. Not one sip of alcohol for the B-Man. I don't know. Maybe slowing down at my old age. But anyway, if you're just joining me, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. Once again, folks, we are 8-0 in our last 8 board member tier package picks. Of course, if you want to access all of my premium selections on a daily basis, you may want to think about joining my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. I was just talking about chairman members having another winning day, cashing in on 4 more premium selections. But anyway, chairman members, they get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And for the most part, you'll also get access to our chairman briefing. I do those most days. I might take a day or two off, but for the most part, we do a chairman briefing almost every day. We're talking like 95 to 98% of the days we do that chairman briefing. It's a video where I break down all of the premium selections for that day. It's in video format. But if you're not interested in all that, but maybe you think about, you'd like to use maybe 1 premium selection a day. That's it. You only need 1. Well, I also got a package for you. It is my $1.99 daily best play. It costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days of service. Now, folks, real quick, I'm 2-0 my last couple of extra daily picks. 2-0 my last couple of MLB tier package plays. And finally, folks, once again, we are 8-0 in our last 8 board member tier package picks. Red hot package right now. We have not been able to lose in that package over the past week. And, the good news is we've got plays going off in all of those packages I just mentioned to you here today. The site is patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into some free content. Got a nice full slate of games here today, so let's go ahead and dive into it. We're going to start off with the Mets at the Pirates, 135 East. The New York Mets are minus $1.30, totals 9 runs. Sean Manaea for New York, Luis Ortiz for Pittsburgh. And as good as Ortiz has been this year, well, the Pirates lost 5 out of their last 8. And they really do not hit well at the plate. They're currently in the bottom 5 in the National League in runs per game at home. And in their last 10 gatherings with the Mets, they've been held to just 3.6 runs a game. We could see more of the same here today as they face Sean Manaea. The lefty's got 81 strikeouts with an ERA in the 3s. Of course, at the plate, the Mets are still the best run-producing team on the road in the majors. Francisco Lindor's got the most hits in the lineup. Brandon Nimmo's the team leader in RBI. Now, injury-wise, Starling Marte is still out for the Mets. Henry Davis inactive for Pittsburgh. When it comes to the total, 3 out of the Pirates' last 5 at PNC Park got over the total. Meanwhile, New York went 8-2 to the over in their last 10, giving the Mets minus $1.30, over 9. Next contest, Phillies Braves, 135 East. Atlanta's minus $1.75, totals 8.5. Ronaldo Lopez for Atlanta, Michael Mercado for Philadelphia. And the youngster Mercado looked pretty good in his inaugural start last week. He's now got 6 total innings under his belt this season. ERA of just 1.50. He had that start last week and then some relief duty the week before. But looking pretty good in that short span. Of course, at the plate, the Phils continue to hit well. They're averaging nearly 5.1 runs per game for the entire year. Of course, Alec Boehm, he's got the most hits and RBI on the roster. Trey Turner's batting .340. And they're facing an Atlanta squad who lost 6 out of their last 10. And they certainly have a tough time against divisional opponents. As a matter of fact, these guys are playing just .500 baseball at home this year against the NL East. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Braves failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10. Now, injury-wise, Anderson and Harris are still out for the Braves. Harper, Realmuto, and Schwarber inactive for Philadelphia. Now, 4 out of the Phils' last 6 road games did get over the total. They're also 60% to the over in their last 10. Give me the Phillies plus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. Next contest, Cards, Nats, 135 East. St. Louis is minus $1.25, totals 9. Kyle Gibson for St. Louis, DJ Hertz for Washington. And through 27 innings of work this year, the lefty Hertz, he's recorded only 1 win with a .467 ERA. But even if he does throw well here today, the Nats have definitely struggled at the dish. They're currently in the bottom 10 in hits per game. Eddie Rosario hits just .183 with an OPS in the 500s. And Nick Senzel, he hits just .209 with a negative .5 WAR. Of course, they're going up against Kyle Gibson, who's 6-3 for the Redbirds with an ERA in the 3s. And even though the bats have been a bit lax for the Cardinals this season, they have done a nice job against Washington pitching in recent gatherings. They actually scored 65 total runs in their last 10 head-to-head meetings. And when it comes to the injury report, looks like Herrera and Nootbaar are out for the Cards. Joey Gallo inactive for Washington. When it comes to the total, the Nats have gone 16-12 to the under against National League opponents at home. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are 62% to the under against National League opponents on the road. Give me the Cardinals minus $1.25, under 9. All right, next matchup, White Sox, Marlins. That's going to be a 1:40 Eastern first pitch. Miami's the $1.45 favorite, totals 8 runs. Eduardo Cabrera for the Fish, John Cannon for Chicago. And even though Cannon has not been great, the White Sox did get the W in 5 out of their last 9. They've done a nice job against the run line recently as well. Out of Chicago's last 10 ball games, they covered the run line in 60% of those outings. They're facing a Miami team who's having all kinds of problems at the plate. They're actually dead last in the National League in runs per game. I'll tell you what, out of 48 total ball games at Lone Depot Park, the Marlins got the W in just 35% of those contests. Now, out of 21-plus innings of work this year for starting pitcher Eddie Cabrera, well, he's got an ERA in the 7s. It's a lot of earned runs given up during that short span. Now, injury-wise, Otto Lopez is out for the Marlins. Dom Fletcher inactive for the White Sox. When it comes to the total, Chicago held Miami to just 3.8 runs a game in their last 10 meetings. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. No real surprise, folks. Speaking of historical trends, the under cashed in 60% of those head-to-head gatherings I just mentioned. Give me the White Sox plus 1.5, under 8. All right, next game, Tigers-Reds, 1:40 p.m. East. Detroit's the $1.40 favorite, totals 8 runs. Tarek Skubal for the Tigers, Graham Ashcraft for Cincinnati. And even though Ashcraft's definitely run into some trouble this year, he still has a winning 5-4 record on this season. And I'll tell you what, that's not overly surprising. The Cincinnati pitching staff's currently in the top 10 in fewest hits allowed. And that's definitely not good news for Detroit fans because these guys have certainly struggled at the plate this year. The Tigers are currently in the bottom 5 in the American League in hits per game. And as dominant as Skubal's been, well, the Tigers have still managed to take the loss in 3 out of his last 4 starts. Shut out a couple times during that short stretch. Now, injury-wise, Baez and Carpenter are still out for the Tigers. Maley, Fraley, and Friedel inactive for the Reds. When it comes to the total, the Reds' last 3 straight at the Great American Ballpark stayed under the line. They were also 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Reds plus $1.20, under 8. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Giants-Guardians, 1:40 p.m. East. Cleveland's minus $1.25, totals 9. Carlos Carrasco for the Guardians, Hayden Birdsong for San Francisco. And out of just 9 2/3 innings of work this year, the righty Birdsong's got an ERA of 4.66 already. And I'll tell you what, this San Francisco pitching staff, they've been brutal on the road. They allow more hits per 9 on the road than any other pitching staff besides one. And unfortunately for them, the Guardians rarely strike out. They rarely strike out at the plate, and they do rank in the top 5 in the majors in run production. Steven Kwan hits .365. That is now the best qualifying batting average in the major leagues. He's had a high batting average all season long, but missed a handful of games, so wasn't, technically qualified for that particular category. Well, now it does. That's the highest official qualifying batting average in the majors. And of course, Jose Ramirez, he is the second most RBI in the major leagues as well. Now, injury-wise, Will Brennan's out for the Guardians. Flores and Estrada inactive for San Francisco. Now, the Giants went 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Cleveland saw 4 out of their last 5 at Progressive Field get over the total themselves. Give me the Guardians minus $1.25, over 9. All right, next game, it is going to be Astros-Twins, 2:10 Eastern first pitch. Minnesota's minus $1.25, totals 9. S.W. Richardson for the Twins, Spencer Arrighetti for Houston. And I tell you what, Arrighetti continues to blow. He's got a 6.13 ERA, 7 losses on the year. Of course, as a team, the Astros continue to play their worst baseball on the road. Houston's actually 2 games below 500 in their travels. And they're facing a Minnesota club who won 7 out of their last 10 themselves. They're in the top 3 in the league in home hits. Jose Miranda bats .328 with an OPS in the 900s. And Carlos Correa bats .305. But even if they do struggle at the dish, starting pitcher S.W. Richardson, he's been very good on the mound. He's got a 1.13 whip. And he actually recorded only 1 loss through 71-plus innings. Now, injury-wise, Kirilloff and Lewis are out for the Twins. Altuve's questionable for the Astros. When it comes to the total, 7 out of Houston's last 10 ball games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Minnesota went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Twins minus $1.25, over 9. Next matchup, little interleague action here. Angels-Cubs, 2:20 p.m. East. Chicago's minus $1.40, totals 9. Hayden Wisniewski for the Cubs, Jose Soriano for the Angels. And even though Soriano's thrown well this year, the Angels just don't want to win for him. He's got a 4-6 record on the season, and I'll tell you what, a lot of that has to do with poor run production. The Angels are a bottom 10 run-scoring team on the road. Joseph Adell bats just .185. Mickey Moniak just a $193. And they're facing Hayden Wisniewski, who averages over a strikeout an inning, and he has a 1.20 whip. But even though the Cubbies struggled a bit yesterday, they still got the W in 6 out of their last 7 interleague home games. Now, injury-wise, Tauchman's out for the Cubs. Rengifo's inactive for the Angels. When it comes to the total, 4 out of the Angels' last 5 road games did stay under the line. They were also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Cubs minus $1.40, under 9. Next matchup, Rays, Rangers, 2:35 East. Texas is minus $1.40, total 7.5. Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers, Zach Littell for Tampa Bay. And despite Littell's record, He does have 86 punch-outs and an ERA in the threes. I'll tell you what, these Tampa Bay pitchers as a whole, well, they've shown excellent command this season. As a matter of fact, Tampa Bay is walking fewer batters per nine on the road than any other staff in the league. And they're facing a Rangers club here today who does not produce a lot of runs at home. These guys are in the bottom five in the American League in runs per game on their own diamond. Travis Jankowski's got an OPS of 508, negative .1 WAR, and Adolis Garcia's batting just .215 with 95 strikeouts. Now, out of Eovaldi's last 6 starts, the Rangers were only able to win 50% of those games. When it comes to the injury report, Josh Smith is questionable for the Rangers. Evan Carter's still out. Now, 4 out of Texas's last 5 contests at Globe Life Field fell under the total. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me the Rays plus $1.20, under 7.5. Next game, Royals, Rockies, 3:10 Eastern start time. Kansas City's minus $1.55, totals 10 runs. Brady Singer for Kansas City. Tanner Gordon making his debut for Colorado. And the 26-year-old Gordon started 7 games at AAA Albuquerque. And I tell you what, those really weren't very strong innings. He had a 5.35 ERA along with a 1.45 WHIP. And, that's kind of been the theme with the Rockies this season. Very lackluster pitching. It's actually worse than lackluster. Their pitching hurts them. Anytime they throw a pitcher on the mound, it's a risk. These guys allow a league worst 10.4 hits a game on their own field. And they're facing a Royals club here today who rarely strikes out at the dish. These guys are in the top 3 and fewest strikeouts per 9. Of course, Bobby Witt Jr.'s got the 3rd highest batting average in the big leagues, 10th highest OPS. And Vinny Pasquantino, he leads the roster in runs batted in. But I tell you what, even if they struggle in that high altitude, they've got a good pitcher in Brady Singer on the mound here today. He's got a 3.05 ERA, 1.18 WHIP. Of course, when it comes to the injury list for Colorado, Bryant, Amador, and Beck, they're all still out for him. Give me Kansas City minus 155, over 10. Next game, Orioles Athletics, 407 East. Baltimore's $1.90, totals 8 runs. Grayson Rodriguez for the O's, Mitch Spence for Oakland. And even though Spence has been more than serviceable this year, he has seen his ERA creep up to a 4.15. And I'll tell you, he's got to do better than that because Oakland's the 2nd worst hit-producing team in the majors. And unfortunately for them, they have to face Grayson Rodriguez, who's 10-3 on the year with 97 strikeouts. Of course, at the plate, Baltimore is the highest run-producing lineup in the game. Gunnar Henderson's got the 3rd most home runs in the bigs, 4th highest OPS. And Anthony Santander, he's got the 2nd most homers on the roster. Now, 7 out of Baltimore's last 10 gatherings with Oakland did get over the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of overs to go around. They actually scored 66 total runs during that time frame. Give me Baltimore minus 1.5, over 8. Next matchup, little NL West action here. D-backs Padres, 4:10 p.m. East. San Diego's the $1.55 favorite, totals 8 runs. Dylan Cease for the Pods, Ryan Nelson for Arizona. And even though Nelson's had numerous shaky outings this year, the righty's still recorded a handful of victories, on his win-loss record. And the D-backs as a team, they've played well in divisional games. Now, they're currently a top 5 run-producing team in the National League. Christian Walker's got 22 homers on the year, 7th most RBI in the majors. Great turnaround for him after a bit of a shaky start to the season. Of course, Jock Peterson's got 103 total bases with an OPS nearly in the 900s. Now, they're facing a Padres club who has a losing record in divisional play. And for some reason, their pitchers do not throw well at Petco Park. The Pods are in the bottom 5 in the National League and runs allowed at home. Now, starting pitcher Dylan Cease, has not been an exception to that. Cease has recorded 7 losses with an ERA in the 4s. And when it comes to the injury list, Bogarts and Tatis are out for the Pods. Marte's questionable for Arizona. Now, total-wise, the D-backs saw their last 5 straight on the road get over the line. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10. Now, San Diego, on the other side, they went 70% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me Arizona plus 1.5, over 8. Next game, Brewers-Dodgers, 4:10 Eastern first pitch. The Dodgers are the $1.65 favorite at home, totals 9.5. Justin Wrobleski making his debut for Los Angeles. Dallas Keuchel on the other side for Milwaukee. And even though Keuchel hasn't been dominant in, a handful of innings, the Brewers did get the W in his 2 starts this year. And of course, at the plate, Milwaukee's been a top 5 hit-producing lineup in the National League. William Contreras, he has the most hits in the clubhouse. Willie Adames has the most RBI. And they're facing youngster Justin Wrobleski, who's he definitely looks solid at Double-A Tulsa this year, but in a couple of starts at Triple-A Oklahoma City, he did allow 11 total hits and a couple of home runs. He actually had a 1.35 whip in those 2 starts at OKC. And, of course, when it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Dodgers, they've struggled a bit covering the 1.5 recently. They actually failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. Now, injury-wise, Hayward and Betts are still out for the Dodgers. Sanchez, Ortiz, and Dunn, they're inactive for the Brewers. When it comes to the total, 4 out of the Dodgers' last 5 home games got over the line. They also went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Give me Milwaukee plus 1.5, over 9.5. All right, next matchup, Blue Jays Mariners, 4:10 Eastern first pitch. Seattle's minus $1.65, total 7 runs. George Kirby for the M's, Jose Barrios for Toronto. And Barrios has 8 wins on the season with a 1.12 whip. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Blue Jays are covering in 61% of their road games against American League opponents. And they're facing a Mariners squad who definitely can't hit for shit. As a matter of fact, these guys average under 6.6 hits a game at home. That is a league worst in that particular category. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, well, they've been pretty horrible recently. The M's failed to cover in 7 out of their last 8 in their own building. Now, injury-wise, Rodriguez is questionable for the M's. Turner day-to-day for the Blue Jays. When it comes to the total, 5 out of Toronto's last 8 home games stayed under the total. They also went 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me Toronto plus 1.5, under 7. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. Going to be in that Red Sox-Yankees series. That'll be a 7:10 Eastern first pitch. New York's the $1.50 favorite at home, totals 8.5. Luis Gil for the Bombers, Cutter Crawford for Boston. And I tell you what, don't let Crawford's record fool you. He's definitely had some strong outings this year. The righty's got 102 strikeouts and a 1.10 whip. And, of course, at the plate, the Bo Sox are one of the best run-producing teams in the game on the road. They're currently in the top 5 in runs per contest away from Fenway. Rafi Devers has the most RBI in the lineup. Jarren Duran with the most hits. And they're facing a Yankee squad who took the loss in their last 3 straight Luis Gil starts. New York actually allowed 34 total runs during that short span. I defended a Gil over the past couple of weeks, but now I see where the experts are coming from. This isn't looking too good for him recently. But anyway, at the moment, the Bombers have a losing record against divisional opponents, not doing great against the AL East. Injury-wise, Torres is questionable for the Pinstripers. Grissom's out for the Red Sox. When it comes to the total, Boston's last 5 straight on the road all got over the total. They also went 9-1 of the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, New York saw 9 out of their last 10 ball games get over the line themselves. Give me Boston plus 1.5, over 8.5. With that, folks, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Give me the Mets minus 130 over 9. Phillies plus 1.5 over 8.5. I'm 8-0. My last 8 board member picks on my premium site. Cardinals minus $1.25 under 9. White Sox plus 1.5 under 8. Cincinnati plus $1.20 under 8 runs. Guardians minus $1.25 over 9. Minnesota Twins minus $1.25 over 9 runs. Cubs minus 140 under 9. Tampa Bay plus $1.20 under 7.5. Kansas City minus $1.55 over 10. Orioles minus 1.5 over 8 runs. Arizona plus 1.5 over 8. Brewers plus 1.5 over 9.5 runs. Blue Jays plus 1.5 under 7. And give me the Bo Sox plus 1.5 over 8.5 runs. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks that Chairman Package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And occasionally, you'll also get access to my Chairman Briefing video, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. We do that most days. We might miss 1 to 2 days a month on that, but typically we try to put one of those videos out every single day. And I do have one of those queued up for you here today. But I'll tell you what, most importantly, folks, I got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.